Good morning. It's Friday, December 27th. And this morning I want to talk about something that affects all of us. I want to talk about your last name. There are many, many last names in this country alone. There are over 6 million surnames in this country. Now that may seem like not that much when you consider that there's 350 million people in this country. But it means that many people have the same surname or some derivation of the same surname. Now when I look at my family, I'm a Braunstein, Braunstein. And that name, in my mind, suggests strength, brawn, strength. But I have relatives who consider themselves Brownstein, Brownstein. What does Brownstein mean with respect to the name that I think of strength? Brown is a color, white often reflecting one of our excrements, one of the human excrements. So I don't know why that portion of the family chose to become Brownstein. But that's the way it is in this world. So when you look at the derivation of names, and in the beginning, there weren't any surnames. It wasn't something that happened right away. Surnames came about because there were too many people living in the same place, and there were too many people that had the same first name. So surnames are a gateway to understanding more about our ancestral heritage and our cultural heritage. And they even have a reflection on some of the migration patterns that took place. So when you think about surnames, you must understand that they had meaning. Because if you think about Hill, that necessarily meant that people lived in a certain place. Or there was an occupation, so you could be called Baker. Or if you were a big, strong guy, you might be called Armstrong. So when the population was a diverse mix of cultures, then surnames carried with them the marks of migration, colonization, and assimilation. All of those things are related to your surname. And in many cases, your surname suggests an ethnic heritage, or an occupational trade, or a geographical region. So there are something like 31 million surnames in the world. And that's an awful lot of surnames. And there are certain surnames that don't exist except in certain countries, in certain parts of the world. So if you look way back in history when the Vikings were running around, they had a lot of names that ended in Sir or Sen, which meant that that person was a descendant of somebody. So you could be Davidson or Anderson, and that meant you were the son of Anders or the son of David. And then there were names like Carlson and Erickson and Richardson, and many names that had son after them. And then we had the Vikings, and they had different names. The name Holmes, Holmes, that's the meaning in Viking of a small island. So somebody who lives on a small island could have been Holmes. And if you were MacOlaf, that meant you were the son of Olaf. So names had so many different derivations. Like the name Doyle, that meant you were a descendant of some place called Dublin Hall. And then there was the name Duke, which had the meaning of dark or black. And then McDowell, Irish surname surname McDowell or the Scottish surname McDougall. They were the same derivation. They meant the son of Doomingholl. So names are very, very specific, and if you went and looked into the surnames that were prevalent in many different countries, you would find names that had special meaning. The name Sawyer comes from somebody who sawed wood, a carpenter type, like the name Carpenter. And the name Smith is derived from the Old English name Smithan, meaning to smite or to strike, indicating that somebody wasn't a fighter, but it was somebody who worked with metal, a blacksmith or a goldsmith. And then you have the names Taylor and Fisher and Wright, and all of those, you can understand what those names meant. And Cooper was a barrel maker, and then there was a brewer and a cook. All of those names refer to the profession of somebody. In many countries, the name referred to a profession, such as the word Geiger, a German surname that meant fiddle player, or Notaro, an Italian occupational name that meant clerk, and Fisker, the Dutch surname for a fisherman, Patel, an England, an Indian surname meaning landowner, and Fabre, a French name that meant blacksmith, and the name Miller, which could become Muller in German, and Mulder in French, and Melnick in Russian, and Milanaro in Spanish, and they all mean the same thing, Miller. Names, they can mean many things. There are occupational surnames, and then there are surnames that represent geography, and surnames that represent heritage. So there are many, many different types of surnames, locality, ancestry, so many different reasons to have a particular surname. It's beyond my ken right now to go through all of the possible variations of surnames and the historical background of them. But think about your own surnames and try to figure out whether it's a geographic thing or an inherited thing or some other form of reason as to why you have such a name. In many cases you are the son of, or you were raised in a particular province, or you were lucky enough to be a wealthy man's son. Who knows what the meaning of every single surname is? It's an interesting study to go and find the derivation of names. So I leave you with that this morning. Something to think about. Think about your name and where it came from, and you are the son of, or the daughter of, or you came from some place, some magical thing. Anyhow, have a great day. Just something to think about. Take care. Bye.